the oil and gas companies, and that if they don't go down deep enough, some of us have had to re-drill wells on our ranches because we don't have any water to drink. Well, this is nothing compared to what happens with the data center. So just to ask in your leadership role for our county, would you please, I thank you for standing up and doing what you have done, but it's not enough. And we need more. So,
Thank you, thank you. Thank you.
Mayor.
Yes, the next person is Thomas Palasic.
Plastic. After hearing all that, it makes me feel like my little problem is very trivial. And I appreciate y'all giving me the opportunity to air my colon out a little bit, so here it goes. I have questions for y'all as far as what are y'all gonna, or do y'all have any intentions of doing anything to clean up the right of ways and the ditches in Hobson where y'all came through and did the road work? I have to commend y'all on the road work. I think they did a fine job working up the road base and laying it down. But they made some of the ditches look like something out of Alfred Hitchcock movie. And you made it where a lot of us, we can't even maintain it anymore, and y'all don't. So are y'all gonna clean it up or not? I'm done.
Thank you.
No others.
Okay, hearing no others, we're gonna have, move to item number 6, and it's a discussion on the Alamo Regional Transit ridership from January 2026 through April 2026. We have Miss Ella Nash and Sean is here. You are not Ella, you are.
I'm not Ella today,
You-
but I did bring her here with me.
Okay, good.
Good morning, everybody. My name's Sean Scott. I'm the Senior Director down in the area Council of Governments and over the Alamo Regional Transit. We were first just gonna give you the January numbers, but we decided to make sure we included the numbers from the inception of the program that we all started here, the Connect Kennedy route and the Connect Karnes route. And I wanted you to see ridership, and then we also broke it out by how that ridership comes. And so I think we're doing very well on the ridership. If you look, when we started, we were sitting at around 30 to 40 trips a month. Now we're running over 1,000 consistently a month. So I feel like the program's a success right now, no problems there. The next thing I wanted to point out though is when you look at these numbers and everything, I wanted to show you that we didn't supplant ridership off of what already existed. And so you can look at what was happening before you invested in public transportation and see that this increase comes from y'all's investment, not from anything else. And you can also see that the public ridership that was happening that doesn't happen on those routes is actually increasing also on the demand response. So you can see that ridership is just increasing over everything that was done. But the ridership kind of speaks for itself. If you're looking at those numbers, I'm hoping you all got that. Is there any questions on ridership numbers? And so the next part of that I was just going to shift to real quick is what's our next steps? What's happening next? And so I just want to tell you what's going on is in the picture that you got there on the side, those are the 2 buses that will be starting to come in this region to start operating. 6 months late, but there was a recall on them. I couldn't do anything about it, but I think the buses look really sharp. They're over in the parking lot right now getting finished out, but it's going to have the voice automators. It's got the signage on the front. They look really sharp. The next part is we're going to increase marketing efforts. We've got the new flyers and the new maps that are coming with this and the new designs. We've also developed, or we're developing, I should say, some separate social media packages and some social media pages from separating them from Alamo Area Council of Governments so that people could follow just the transit if they want, and they could get updates for their regions. The next thing I just want to talk about real quick that's going to help promote ridership is going to be the mobile app upgrades. We've been working with our developer. We're going to have a little bit higher technology and an easier use function to do this with. So the mobile app will help even on the 6th route because you'll be able to see where the route is and where, if it's on time or not on time, or where it can get you, or you can use it for the demand response systems. Probably the primary thing that we need to talk about is that the bus stop upgrades. So we have the funding. Actually, I should say this: the funding is going to come in September 1st. We've been awarded the funding. But you'll sign for it and receive it September 1st. And that'll be the signs and benches and everything else like that. So that's been a big area of getting these things in there. And so, that should be starting on September 1st, and we'll be coming and talking to you about how we can get all of it installed. I already talked a little bit about the new bus routes, and so try to make this pretty quick for you all. Is there any questions I can answer?
When are we gonna see the updated route flyers and advertising?
This is in the bank, so I would think in June it'll happen for sure. The routes have been retimed and reevaluated. We have good data now to go on. So, the times and stops will be put on there much more efficiently and much more interactive with people. So they'll be able to see them on websites, and they'll be able to see them on the apps, and then we'll also have the hard copies to hand out also.
Do you have any ETA on when the app will be up and functional?
No, that one's just, we've been working with them for over 6 months, and so no, I don't want to say anything, but they told me, because I gave a big ballpark, and they told me 90 days. So we'll see if that fits out.
You asked about questions for riders further. The on-demand, which is that? How's that labeled? Is that AVN? Is that on-demand?
So when you see the Medicaid and the AVN, the aging, and the public will all be demand response services. And I will tell you that these numbers are a little bit off, they're low, because we're having a hard time counting the AVN for some reason in our software system, so there's actually more ridership that goes on here that I can't explain why I can't. I know the number, I just don't know the number of total Karnes County.
Can you give us all a little more background on the on-demand system? How it functions and
So the on-demand system is a 24-hour advanced reserve system. You call into our dispatch center. And our dispatch center, I will tell you right now, is we've got some automated, or I'll call it the AI. We have that installed right now so that you can call 24/7 and you can reserve a trip on the system, on the demand response system. So you tell the time that it picks you up, and we'll pick you up within an hour of that time, or if you tell us the appointment, we'll get you to that appointment. It's advanced demand response, and it's gonna come from the client initiating the request for service. A lot of stuff could be dialysis and stuff like that that's going across county lines and stuff like that.
so my understanding, the on-demand is something available for the public that they can schedule outside of the bus route, that they can get a ride. And how far can they go on these on-demand systems?
So the on-demand system can go anywhere in our region. I mean, if you needed to go from here to San Antonio, we could. But I will tell you that when we do that, you'll see the ridership start dropping, because obviously we're doing one trip where we could have done 5 trips inside Karnes County, or even Karnes County over to Florida. We have a lot of medical need clients that come from here, go over there, and vice versa. They come back from here to the hospital.
In the on-demand system, is it another shuttle bus, or is it like an Uber driver? How does that function? I don't know.
So it is up to the public, and you can schedule it through the app, you can schedule it through calling, but it's usually a ride share system. So we usually use a bigger capacity bus. Anywhere a bus capacity is 6 to 15, and we try to schedule it most efficiently as we can. So if we can get more people on it, it's.
I just want to point out the numbers for everyone that when we started out in March of 2025, we had 147 total riders, and now April 2026, we've got 1,009 riders. So definitely seems like it's improving. Ridership is much higher in Kennedy than Karnes City. Have y'all heard any feedback as to why we're having less riders in Karnes City area?
Well, remember, the Karnes City isn't, the Karnes route isn't just Karnes City. It connects into Kennedy, and it connects to
To
Run.
run these.
And so while it's a longer route, it actually runs less time. But a lot of those clients that are using that are actually using the Kennedy route also.
So we're bringing them in to the Kennedy area, and then they're getting on the other bus.
Correct. In some instances, I mean, the Karnes County route actually covers a lot of the lanes.
So our new buses will be here any day now?
They could be, I think, I'm sorry, I gotta ask a question real quick. When is that ribbon cutting? June 23rd. June 20, we're trying to do a ribbon cutting and bring them all in at the same time. So June 23rd. And everybody will be invited to. We do really appreciate it. The partnership's been great for us. It's helped really increase our ridership. And of course, we have to maintain an increase in ridership of 2% a year just to maintain our current level of funding. Everything we do with that 2%, they try to formulate to get us more funding to put in here, and I do allocate it out to the town. Anything we did, this has just been a great project, and a lot of people look at it. In fact, I'm gonna be going to Atlanta, Georgia, and this is gonna be one of the topics to talk about at the National Association, or National Organization of Development Organizations. NATO, anyway. So, anyway, we do appreciate it. Any more questions?
Thank you.
Tom, thank you.
You bet.
See you tomorrow. Okay, item number 7, discuss, approve, disapprove the cancellation of the current RFP solicitation and declarations that all received proposals are voided without prejudice due to discrepancy between posted RFP on 3/24/26 agenda and the county website. Approve revised RFP for removal of steel framing, Karnes County Archive Building. Jennifer Tapia.
So the last time the RFP was approved, it was not forwarded to Jimmy to update it on the website. So one of the bids we received was based on what was on the website, which was the old RFP before council for CNC advised me that they wanted to keep the steel. So this is basically just to repost it pursuant to local government code 242 under the competitive bidding procedures to make it transparent and fair to everybody. And it's the same RFP, but just different dates. And it does have on it that they will be retaining the metal framing, and it's just for approval for Jimmy to post it on the website. So what we've approved here matches what's on the website.
I'll make the motion to approve item number 7 as presented.
I'll second.
Motion and second, all those in favor, right hand, anybody opposed? None. Carried. Item number 8, discuss pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.071, consultation with attorney regarding the litigation in the matter of Centurion Industries Incorporated / A-Lert Roofing. Tapia, do you want to go into closed session at 9:18, Mary? Okay, it is 10:08. We are back in regular session. We'll take no action on item number 9. Item number 10, discuss, approve, disapprove, recommendation by Courthouse Restoration Committee and Commissioner Benny Lissy to, 1, accept FPC Architect scoring of CMAR RFQs, and 2, to initiate negotiations with Pew Construction to provide CMAR services to Karnes County with the intent to award a contract to Pew Construction at a later date. Mr. Lissy.
Well, our architects, Ford, Powell, and Carson did a scoring of the CMAR RFQs. We had 7 applicants. They scored them, and Pew came in at number 1. They've done a lot of work with them. They're very satisfied with them. And so the committee agreed with them and want to take RFQ from Pew to start negotiations for their services.
Judge, may I?
Yes, sir.
Court, I read through the committee notes that they took, and I was really pleased with what I heard that they said about Pew Contractors. The top score was Pew Contractors, and I apologize if I'm saying the name wrong. But apparently they are the general contractors who do all the work with the mission churches in San Antonio. And Anna, she's one of our architects, has worked with them for over a decade. They have also done work at the Bexar County Courthouse. They mainly specialize in restoration work at our architects says they are very satisfied with the work and that Pew Contractors is very knowledgeable about historic buildings. And they have worked with the same people over at Pew Contractors for over 10 years. So I support.
I agree. I read that too, Commissioner, and that made me happy.
Well, I'll move that we approve item number 9 as presented.
Second. Okay, motion and second. All those in favor, right hand. Anybody opposed? None. Motion carries. Item 10, discuss implementation status of KCRB fuel system automation. Wayne Giesler.
Morning, Court.
Morning.
We've got, I'm here basically just to kind of fill you guys in on where we're at. We have implemented our electronic fuel system we purchased on this year's budget at all 3 yards. The Karnes City Yard is basically available all hours with fob access. The Rungy and Gillette yards are basically daytime only right now. We don't have a gate there, or automated gates there that will allow you to badge in and badge out. It's still a combination lock, but we got that budget where we're proposing budget automated gates at those 2 yards so that we can actually extend refueling opportunities to both those yards as well, 24/7. Right now, only KCRB and the maintenance vehicles are in the system. We still need to add in the KCSO and EMS vehicles. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but they've already got, KCSO and EMS have already gotten their information. We just did, whatever happened during the procurement configuration, they weren't able to get that information in. So what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to get those guys, whenever they're ready to start utilizing the services, can come over and meet up with Monica, get fobs for all the personnel, still get in and out of yards. And then we'll get, Monica will take care of getting the vehicles added into the system. And the way we're gonna do the building of the fuel, work that out with Tom. Thank you, Tom. We'll end up polling the fuel, Monica will end up polling the fuel usage at the end of each month. And she'll end up creating a statement of usage for submittal to the auditor and reporting to the participating department heads, whoever's getting fuel there. And per the auditor, what we'll do is we'll interrogate the last fuel purchase that we made. We'll use that as the most recent, to allocate dollars to the most recent fuel charges. And based on that, the department's usage will basically charge back.
So that'll effectively allow, 24/7 access, even, and we've had some problem, Casey and sheriffs both also, whenever you have internet outage or that sort of thing, it can mess up your ability to get commercial gas. This will free that up. It'll actually give you some opportunities too. So that's kind of where we're at on that. Any questions?
Wayne, how are we tracking who gets the fuel? Is it a log that they're filling out? Is it a key badge or is it their WEX card? What are they using?
Sure. Way we set it up, is we're gonna do all fob access. For a time, they had the numbers on the back of these cards. Well, you can pass your number around. We don't want that. So effectively, when you get the fob, you basically come up to the vending machine, I guess, and you fob in, and it asks you for your odometer, your vehicle, and based on that, that's part of what Monica's will configure whenever you get the vehicles. It'll basically allocate right then and there. And the location in Karnes City right now, it has cameras as well, so that's really nice. We'll see what we can do when we put the gate in, if we can add that over into the other yards, at least locally, but for right now, that's kind of where we're at. Great question.
And this whole system will function off the backup generator, so in a major emergency, everyone still has access to fuel for the whole county?
Yes, and for sure, absolutely, at the Karnes City Yard, I think we're gonna have to do something to add, long-term, backup generator type situation over at the Kippy and the Rungy and Gillette Yard, but shouldn't be a problem there. We just have to work that out.
Thank you.
That's all I have, Judge.
Okay, item number 11, discuss, approve, disapprove acceptance by Karnes County Commissioner Court, KCRB engineer recommended traffic signing plan for Hobson community.
Okay, you guys should have about 3 maps in your packet. It shows where we're gonna put signs all over Hobson. And I did speak to Mr. Colossus earlier, so I'll give him squared away in terms of his question, but this, basically, we're putting, for the most part, we're putting back what was there in Hobson before we redid the roads. We did some touch-ups to it to enhance the ability of KCSO to enforce the 20-mile-an-hour speed limits in the truck zones. They're restricted truck zones that presently exist, but they've never been ratified by the court. So that's the reason we're bringing this in today, because as soon as we get this ratified, my staff's actually gonna be putting the signs up. We're gonna be putting our old sign standards up, so that, once you guys approve this, then, tickets will be able to be issued. And that's been one of the big issues that has occurred both in in Helena, Anna Maria, and in Hobson is, are these restrictions enforceable? Once we get through with all 3 of those communities, they will be enforceable. This is a step we're taking on Hobson. We're ready to go ahead and do that.
Any other discussion, questions?
I'll make the motion to approve item number 11 as presented.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor, right hand. Anybody opposed? None. Item number 12, discuss, approve, disapprove recommendation by the road and bridge engineer to award a contract to Cintas to supply uniforms for the road and bridge department and to authorize myself, county judge, to execute the contract. Wayne?
Okay, I'm gonna ask you guys to table this one until next time. Me and the county attorney are still working through some verbiage that she'd like to have adjusted on the contract. But, it's more of a legal boilerplate. I'm glad to tell you that, I'll just kind of, I know I got it to you guys late, apologize for that, but we've got all the dollars and cents values worked out with this thing. Our current uniform contract with Cintas expires on the 30th of September of this year. Cintas approached us regarding extending the contract back in December. And so we've been working with them to negotiate various things. they figured out how they could reduce our annual costs significantly, our annual unit cost significantly. And by using a catalog procurement, what we've negotiated and will eventually bring to your review is, the technical details. If you've got the packet, you can look at those things. They're likely not gonna change. But it's a one-year contract that will immediately reduce our cost. It'll be implemented as soon as we get approval for it. It can be extended for up to 4 additional years with commissioner court approval, and that's one of the negotiated things I negotiated out, was I don't want any escalation clauses in it. I do not intend to have any escalation clauses in that contract the way the last one did, and that should hold the pricing for up to 5 years, at those prices. And that's atypical of these uniform contracts. It also eliminate the need to retrain a new vendor on Karnes County invoicing procedures. We can do that because it's catalog procurement. We have already gone through the competitive bidding process. We're gonna get enhancements to our uniforms. Guys gonna get better reflectivity and cooler shirts. That's been something they've been asking for. We maintain our access to PPE footwear at managed pricing. That's a very positive thing. Few, if any other vendors can do that, and would cause a lot of work to go outside of that front contract. And finally, we'll reduce our annual cost by about $8,000 compared to our current level of pricing. So once we get I just want to give you guys that so you could actually take back and look at the document I sent you late. But once we get the legal boilerplate taken care of, we'll bring it back to you for approval. Do you have any questions? Okay. That's all I had, Judge.
Item 13, discuss, approve, disapprove, transfer funds saved on vehicle purchases to continue required maintenance and repairs, keeping the jail in operational status through the fiscal year by transferring $50,000 from the GL 100 560 5711 coded as vehicles to GL 100 561 5729 coded as jail equipment repairs and maintenance. Sheriff, pretty self-explanatory.
Yes, good morning, Court. Again, we had a lot of leaks. We had to repair a lot of valves in the jail. Just ongoing issues, lighting. It ate through the budget pretty quick. So we did have savings in vehicles, and so I'd like to transfer that over to jail maintenance to continue, so we can get through the rest of the year.
I'll make the motion to approve item number 13 as presented.
I'll second.
All those in favor, right hand. Anybody opposed? None. Motion carries. Item 14, discuss, approve, disapprove, transfer funds on vehicle purchases to continue required maintenance and repairs on patrol units and fuel through the fiscal year by transferring $27,500 from GL 100 560 5711 to GL 100 560 4540 coded as vehicle maintenance and repairs, and $27,500 to GL 100 560 3300 coded as fuel. Sheriff?
So again, for, as we all know, fuel went up. That was unexpected, the amount that fuel has gone up. And on the other side, again, we continue with the maintenance of vehicles, replacing brakes, have a transmission, older vehicle. So again, that money goes pretty quick there too.
Make the motion to approve item number 14 as presented.
I'll second.
Judge, may I?
Yes, sir.
Sheriff, just a couple quick questions.
Yes.
For transparency, I'd like to point out our fuel budget was initially $125,000. We currently have $32,906.36 remaining. Vehicle maintenance and repairs, we had $45,000 budgeted. We've now spent $49,509. I know you've spent a lot of money fixing some of these older vehicles to keep them going. We're still trying to get some of those going, and I understand the need for more funds there. With fuel, just a quick question that's been brought up to me before is concerns. You had previously changed the policy to allow county vehicles to be taken out of the county to a maximum of 50 miles. And my understanding was that was to promote having more people apply to the job so you could better fill those positions. Do you still feel that this is a valid policy that you should continue to follow?
I do, honestly, if we don't do that and people stop working here, we're gonna pay more in overtime than we're paying fuel for the people that do still work here.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. That was all my questions.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, right hand. Anybody opposed? None. Motion carries. Sheriff, thank you. Item number 15, the one we've all been waiting for, Mr. Burns sitting back there. Discuss/take possible action on 1, presentation of jail concept plans and drawings. 2, discuss construction method, construction manager at risk. 3, discuss, budget and financing. 4 is discuss the schedule, and 5 is to discuss other next steps to take. Sheriff, you want to introduce Mr. Burns, or you want me to?
Yeah, Mr. Burns is, he runs Architectural LLC. He is the one that, we went through the, scoring process. He's been a great help to me. I think you'll find as we go along, he's going to be outstanding. I think the board's really gonna like what he has to say.
Thank you, Sheriff. Good morning, everybody, Judge, Commissioners.
Morning.
I'm Kenny Burns. This is Jason Ross. Just part of our firm. We've got a bunch of folks that support us back in the office. I just always remember that. I may be the face out here, but there's a lot of people that support what we do. Now, let me give you a little background. I know Commissioner Rosales has sat in on all these meetings we've had. We started out with the idea that, how do we solve your problem long-term? We went through a lot of exercises. We've narrowed it down. We're only going to show you where we're at right now and the direction we're going. We looked at how could you add, say, roughly 96 beds or 144 beds. We looked at several different scenarios. And what we're going to show you today, I'll try to stay next to the microphone. I tend to wander off. We decided that the best bang for your buck is to do 2 48-bed pods, and then there's going to be 11 separation cells. We'll get into the whys and the reasons for why we do all that. But we looked at, how could you build 3 pods versus 2 pods? We looked at different pod designs. And if we can you forward this shot, and I'll explain it. And I know these drawings, they're kind of small for you to see, but what you can see here, if you see that outline all the way around the perimeter, that's your property. So when we looked at it, we had a lot of things that were impacting us: existing driveways, existing fences, existing property lines. So that's how we came to conclude that this was the best approach, this particular drawing that we're going to show you today. We looked at 3 pods each of 2 different styles of doing it. And if you can tell by looking at this, if you went one more of those pods, you can see how it would bump over your property line. So we concluded that what would solve your problems now and for quite some time is to build these 2 pods, the 96 beds plus 11 separation cells, giving you an addition of 107 beds. You can do all that within the property that you own currently. And in the future, if you wanted to buy the other property, you would have further expansion capabilities. So what you're seeing there on the left, it's kind of a hatched pattern, kind of shaded. That's your existing building. Everything that's in heavy black, that's the new design that we've come up with. Again, you can see the driveway going around. And if we could go back to the other drawing, give you a little more detail. And again, I know it's kind of small to see, but if you focus on the left side in the hatched building, that's your existing building. And if you go to the right, just the upper right there, we're going to create new visitation. Your current visitation is not large enough. So we're going to create new general visitation that could accommodate I think we came up with 21 persons could visit at one time versus what you have right now is like 5.
Yes, sir.
And then we've got attorney visitation, which we've got set up as 2 normal sized one and one that's oversized, where you can have multiple attorneys. Or, you know, it also doubles as a handicap accessible one. Your new control room would be there, your new jail lobby. So the jail visitors would no longer come into this lobby here. We're redirecting all the traffic. Then, as we go to the right of that, you can see the pods. They are designed with efficiency in mind. There are 6 8-bed cells surrounding an officer sitting in the middle. There's an exercise area, multi-purpose area, things that are required by the jail commission. So we have 2 of those. So that's 96 beds. Then we have, you can see kind of going left to right, there's a main corridor that ties into your existing corridor of the jail. And I apologize for not having a pointer to try to point this stuff out to you. But we're going to add the 11 separation cells on down below that. So separation cells are single person cells. They're required by the jail commission. We have to have 10% of our capacity in those types of cells. And so when we add 96 beds to your building, we're going to add 10%. So we have to, this is where the rules get funny, so follow me here. 96, we have to have 10 separation cells, but when you add 10 separation cells to 96, now that's 106. The jail commission says 10% of that. We round it up. That's why you have 11. Jail commission has a lot of quirky little rules that we go by. They dictate everything to us on how big everything has to be. Now, we're also creating a new entrance for the staff to come in, a staff break room, things that you don't have there right now that you really need. Your laundry is insufficient. We looked at, you know, could we go in and make alterations to it? And we concluded that that just won't work. So the better thing to do is build a new laundry room. We'll reuse your old laundry for something else. Then we'll have maintenance. All those kind of things are plugged into this new addition, plus some new medical space where we can do exams, have a nurse's office, shower, toilet, things like that for inmates. Space is not huge there, but it is space that you don't currently have. And this building, now if we can go back to the other drawing, you'll see the method behind our madness here. Where you see the driveway at the bottom, you see there's parking spaces, those lines down on the bottom part. That's about as far down as we can come with your building because of utilities and things that are out there in your current parking area driveway. And we can only go so far to the right on this drawing, which is to the east, because we've got to get a driveway around there and we'll start to bump the property line. But this scenario fits. It's the one concept that we looked at that fit, and we can make it work within the space that you have and add 107 beds to your jail. So you can go forward on these drawings. There's a lot of drawings, a lot of work that don't make any sense to y'all, but for us to figure this out, we had to look at it. These are exterior elevations of the building, how tall the walls would have to be to match up with what you've got, how we would build it, all those things. So we're not going to dwell on these. These are just a part of the work that we had to do to create our budget to get to where we're at. So we can go forward. Again, these are just cross sections through the building to see how it would be built and how tall everything would be. So that's really the concept plans in a nutshell. So if you've got questions about the plans, we can address those before we step into the next category of discussion.
Questions on concept? All right, move on to the next one. We ready to get the lights or are we still?
Yeah, I think you could probably, well, let's do this. Let's talk budget.
Okay.
I got the lights out.
Yeah.
And we should have brought everybody a handout, a little handout of drawings, but we did bring you a handout of budgets, because I know nobody's gonna be able to read this. So what we did, we took this concept that we put together, and we've put a budget together. And so, if you look, you can go down there, we have a lot of zeros to start with, at the top, site acquisition. Y'all already own the property, we don't need money for that. There's no utility extensions anticipated, streets or other extensions like that. New parking areas, we kind of factor that into the building construction. So there's no cost there. So what we really did, if you jump down to the next highlighted thing, it says jail, 107 beds. We used a factor of $275,000 a bed. When we design jails, there's two rules of thumb on how to figure cost. One is per bed cost. This early on, that's probably the most accurate way. Later on, we can develop it into a cost per square foot. But these things aren't cheap, but we know
$275,000 per bed.
per bed. Yep. I know that you may have some sticker shock, but that's the reality of what jails cost. And they could vary, you know, this is our estimate. Architects don't determine the cost of these things. The subcontractors that build them really determine the cost. So based on everything we're doing, and, you know, we do a lot of jails. That's obviously why y'all selected us. In my career, in the firm's career, we've designed with 65 jails. We do this every day. We do it year after year. So we know our budget costs are fairly accurate because we watch it day in and day out. So that's what we're using, is that per bed cost. So that comes to $29,425,000. That's your hard cost of construction. Now, there's other costs that have to be factored in. We call that the soft cost. And you can see going down the list there, the architecture and engineering fees, 2.9 million. That's estimated. I believe it will be less than that, but right now, without having reached out to all the engineers and everybody that has to work with us, we have to put an estimate in. We have sent these drawings now to our design team to ask them for their fees, because the way we work, we don't tell you we're gonna charge you a percentage of cost. We're gonna give you a real hard dollar cost. And that cost doesn't change unless you change the scope of work. It's a fixed cost, but it will not exceed 2.9 million. That's just an estimate. There's other costs like 15,000 for printing and reimbursable costs. We do have to get a topographic survey of the property, and we have to get another soils report. Okay, very important. I know you've got that stuff in the past. We have to have it for this. So we've estimated $25,000 for that, to get that done. That will come up in a minute when we talk about next steps, what we need to do. Those things are part of the next steps. Construction testing, that happens during the construction of the building. Your contractor cannot pay for that. Y'all have to pay for that. So we've estimated $150,000 for that. TASH review, that's your ADA, design reviews and inspections that we have to do. Again, nobody else can pay for that except y'all, so we have 5,000 left in there. So the total for what we call services is $3,095,000. Remember, that's a budget. The real number will be something less than that as the money gets spent, and we figure out what the real fee costs are, what the real TASH review costs are, what the real construction testing costs are. Then the other big number is furniture, fixture, and equipment and supplies. The only thing we really have in there, because we're not building a new kitchen, so you see we have a lot of, these are items we always list in all our budgets. We don't have kitchenwares, we don't have jail supplies, furniture, filing systems, because all the jail furniture is built in. That's part of the cost of construction. There's no evidence processing equipment or telephone systems or radio towers, but there is cabling that we carry as an allowance that your contractor may put it in and bid it, but we're going to carry a number for it, plus server racks. Now, these are not for the security electronics of the jail. This is for the county's own computer systems that that we need your IT folks to come install. The computers that are running his programs and the things that he needs in the jail. The security electronic systems, everything that controls the doors, intercoms, that's included in the construction cost. So kind of a little separation. So that's 120,000. So we add all that up, that's 32,640,000. I like to use round numbers. So we usually call it a rounding factor. We rounded up $360,000 just to tell you, we think your project's gonna cost $33 million. Nice, easy number. Now, with that said, let me look at my other things that we want to talk about, and then we can come back and talk about this, unless you've got some questions right now.
I have a question, Judge. In this budget, is there any considerations to the existing structure upgrades that may be made to it to tie it into the new or into the addition, such as the lock systems, the intercoms, things of that nature?
We don't, when it comes to your lock systems and things like that, I don't believe that we're gonna have to do that. Now, when we put a new control room in, our security electronics touchscreen systems will be new and they will integrate with your own. We will not be changing locks and all that. We won't have to do that. Now, some things that we will do on the existing gym. One of the things we told you we were gonna do is bring our structural engineer down here and look at the building. Well, about the time all that's about to happen, we get that report from your structural engineer saying the building is sound. My structural engineer, the only comment he had after reading the reports, he said they did not address the ventilation under your foundation. So we're going to address it in the new design, and we may force air down there. So if I know we went outside and looked at that area where you could feel that heat coming up, damp, humid air coming up from outside. We're gonna have more of that around the building. We're gonna come back and fix that. And so it may have mechanical systems to pull air through there. That's what we need to do to dry out that bottom. So we're going to address that. I did get your email a couple of weeks ago about this new report, and that's why I called you and asked you, were you having problems with the driveway back there? And so we need to probably, I'd already written this before I got there. So we may want to address that during all our construction, just something else we'll do. So that way, addressed all the problems with your existing. But the reports we got were that your current building is not going to fall down. It just has some issues in a couple of places. So we'll deal with that.
On this here, right here, you're basing it on 275,000 per bed, right?
Yes, sir.
But that's on a new, brand new structure, but like this one here, we should come on lower because we already have the kitchen area and all of that, right?
It normally would come in less, I think, because we're not building a kitchen.
Yeah, because we have.
But we're spending more to build this foundation. What the new foundation has got to be the same as what you have, which is hydraulic, because it's that big suspended pan joist system. It's not a slab on grade. Understand? So yes, had we been able to build slab on grade, I'd have probably told you it's 250,000. Yeah, but I hedged my bet because I think that foundation is going to be heavy. Now, how are we going to know the real numbers? It's my next conversation with y'all. Is we have to decide how you want to build this. Our recommendation to you is that you go through the process to hire a construction manager at risk. They come in with us as soon as you can get them hired. They start looking at what we're doing, commenting to us about constructability, and they start budgeting. So they're now looking and checking our budgets, but they're taking a deeper dive. They're contractors. They dive deeper into the budgeting with all their subcontractors. So our recommendation to you is hire a construction manager at risk. There are very qualified gym builders out there. I know you had a bad one here. There's some really good ones out there. There's 3 that come to mind to us that we love to work with. But it's not our decision on who that is. We can tell you who they are. They do a great job. So we need to get that process going quickly because it is a process. You're a purchasing agent. If you have a purchasing agent, Or did it all come out of the auditor's office?
We do not have a purchasing agent.
Okay, so auditor, we're gonna get to do that. We're gonna get to work with you to put that together, and we can help write the RFQ, we do it all the time. But that's our recommendation. Now we can select a really qualified builder, not based on low bid. And then you get them on board and they start helping us as we start to design. And so we take into account everything that they have concerns about, we have concerns about, you have concerns about. Now we have a team player. It's not, we're dealing with somebody that's low bid trying to take advantage. So that needs to happen soon. Going back to the budget, you've got to talk about how are you going to pay for this? That's a question that comes up. Are you going to have to go borrow money? How are you going to finance it? We've got to pull the triggers to do all that kind of stuff. Y'all have to share everything with us so that we can help guide you through the process. You got to share everything with us. Don't hold anything back. You have to trust us. Our job is to take care of you. But it's hard to do if we don't know all the details of what you're thinking, what the financing might be, what the funding sources might be, those kind of things. Schedule, we're going to talk about that. We believe it's going to take us about 10 months to design your building. And then the contractor does, the construction manager still has to go through a bidding process, which will take 6 weeks, maybe. So even if we said 2 months to go through it, vet it, get the numbers, they bring you a guaranteed maximum price or maximum cost. So let's say from the time you tell us to start real design, not what we've done now, the real design of the building, we need 12 months, and 12 months from whenever you say go, we ought to be ready to break ground. And then I think we could probably have a contractor build this in 18 months. If that's reasonable. If you get one of these guys that knows what they're doing, they'll do it even less time than that. But they have the technique. So discuss other steps to take. Again, remember I said we've got to have a survey. For us to do our real work, we have to have a topographic and boundary survey.
Is everybody done with the projector?
Yeah.
Give me some light. I see people falling asleep out there.
So we do need to, get a surveyor. And now we can get a surveyor to come do this. If you have someone local that we can work with, that's good because that keeps money here. You just have to tell us. But we need a boundary and a topographic. So we know exactly what's out there. What are we dealing with? So those two things need to happen. We need to fire off getting a soils report. Again, we can help y'all. Y'all obviously use some of these engineers because of the other issues. So we can use those same people. So those are really two items that need to happen immediately. Going out with an RFQ for the CM at risk needs to happen immediately, just because the longer you take to do it, the further you push it out, the more our budgets are at risk of not being right. And you all see that happening because, 6 months ago, people would have had a different bid based on fuel costs than they're going to have tomorrow based on fuel costs because they all are impacted. So we know that happens. The tariffs got us a couple of years ago. And once everything goes up, it never comes back down. So we hope to make sure these budgets are good. So anyway, things that we need to do, y'all have to authorize us to proceed with real design, but to do that, I've got to amend our contract with our real cost. I don't have that today. I'm working. Got to go for an RFQ for projects, got to get the survey, and we got to get soil report. So those are our 4 key things to do to move the project forward. And all we got to do is we do all or as little as you want us to do to help you get all these ducks in a row.
questions, discussion from the court?
Sheriff, how do you feel about the design and how things are working so far for you?
Well, I've been with him the whole time. The design, kind of did it together. It's what he had on hand, but we tweaked it to our needs here at the county.
They've done a wonderful job on that. Been good all the way through the process so far. They've done great.
Can we vote on CMAR today, or does that need to come back to? Come back? And with the survey and the geotech report too.
So basically today's just more discussion, opening it up to us and all.
You have to go put it out there, so.
And it, maybe the way I'm interpreting their question is different. I think, are y'all asking, can y'all authorize all that to go forward? Versus, because you can't decide on who the CM is, we have to go through the processes, but it seems to me like today's the day to authorize those processes to move forward. Because now we've got to write an RFQ for CM at risk, we've got to reach out to surveyors, we've got to reach out to geotechnical engineers and do all those things and bring those back to you for approval. So today would just be approving that you're ready to
Let's
move
start
forward
moving
with the process to get these things starting to align.
Jennifer, how do we make that motion to make sure that we're on point? So we don't make no mistakes on any other wording or anything.
You would make a motion to draft paperwork for the securing CMAR, securing RFQs, survey, and what?
Now, look,
Okay.
on survey and geotech, those are professional services, so we can't bid those. So I would think that the wording might be, and I don't mean to be the county attorney, but I have to write this stuff all the time, so I'm kind of helping think it through. You're just approving the auditor to issue an RFQ for the CM at risk process. So that's just telling him to do it. And then authorizing negotiations with a geotechnical engineer and a surveyor for services relative to the project. Since we can't bid their work, we've got to go say, you're the guy, now let's negotiate. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I would concur, because it says take possible action, so that you're basically
We put it
taking,
in there for
Yeah.
this reason.
to take the action on what Mr. Burns is recommending, that the next steps to go forward, so you're good.
And then for us, the next step would be authorizing us to move forward contingent upon getting our contract amended.
Yeah.
Because right now, we don't have the information. It'll take me a week or so at least to get it. By next commissioner's court, we should have the amendment and y'all can approve that, but at least authorize us to get started. We know it's coming. Start planning. Will that help or?
It helped, but I don't have the exact motion per word, unless one of the guys do, but if not, I would like one per word, that way we make sure we,
Well, you're basically just taking action on what he's recommended as far as moving forward with doing the CMAR, doing the surveys, doing everything that he's recommended that you need to go forward with to get the project going. So basically just make a motion to,
Kenny, let James write him down, the 3 things, 4 things that we need to do, so he can include that in his motion and it's on the record for everybody.
just want to make sure.
Yes,
Because
I agree.
I don't want to make a mistake on one word and then it's gonna bite us later, bite somebody later. I don't have all those words, so I need to make sure
Make
that
a
we have
motion to approve authorizing the auditor
To issue
authorizing
to issue
the auditor to issue
an RFQ, a CMAR RFQ, Construction Manager Risk RFQ. CMAR RFQ.
CMAR RFQ.
And you could say with, assisted by the architect. I will help him write that.
Assisted by architect, okay.
Now, you could, the next ones you could say, you could author, if you wanted to, authorize us to procure the surveying and the geotech on your behalf. That would be- Authorize architect to
Authorize
procure
architect,
surveying services
surveying services
and geotechnical
and geotech
engineering services for the project.
services
For
for,
jail project, for the project.
for jail project.
And then that covers, that's our CMA risk, that's our survey, that's our source report. And the only other one is, authorizing us to, prepare and send in the amendment to our contract.
So
For authorization to proceed.
authorize,
Authorize the architect
okay,
to
prepare
prepare and
and
submit
submit
the contract amendment
contract amendment
for approval to proceed.
for approval to proceed with jail project.
Yes. I think we got everything.
Sorry, guys.
That's okay.
No, that's good.
All right,
Make,
all right, I will make the motion to approve. Item, we're working on item number 15. One, authorizing the auditor to issue an RFQ assisted by the architect. Number two, authorize architect to procure survey services and geotechnical engineering services for a jail project. Number three, authorize the architect to prepare and submit the contract amendment for approval to proceed with the jail project.
I'll second.
Okay, got a motion and a second. All those in favor, right hand. Anybody opposed? All right, motion carried. Kenny, thank you, sir. Thank you. Look forward to
Thank you.
working on that.
We're looking forward to it.
All right, next item, we have the consent agenda. Within our consent agenda today, we have reports from our Justice of the Peace Precinct 1. Our district clerk's report is in there, maintenance department's in there, and Constable Precinct 3, as well as the budget amendment BA 2026-15.
Okay, can I have a word with you after?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor, right hand. Anybody opposed? Item 17, do we want to talk about any of those to act upon?
Judge, I have one question.
Yes, sir.
For the auditor, please, sir. On the budget amendment, it's listed here as a special budget for revenue received after the start of the fiscal year. Should it be the special budget for revenue received after the start?
No,
Or
it
is it
should
changes
be-
in budget for the?
It should be the prior one. It should be just a move, hold on just a minute. It should be the second from the top, which we normally do, which is budget transfer in accordance with local government code 111-010, parentheses D. So I can make that change. And the budget amendment's already been done. Donna's aware of it, judge's office is aware. So I make that note so the file's correct.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. All right, Hearing none others, let's start with our update. I'll tell y'all what I've been doing. Last, on the 12th, we had Commissioners Court. After Commissioners Court, met with a group that's doing a solar project out in the Show area, private property, right? Met with Geo, also met with the Karnes Wilson Juvenile Probation Department. Let's discuss some issues in there. Had our TAC representative, Mr. Tramer Wojtek. Tramer was a mentor of mine when I was a baby judge and has gone to work for TAC. I'm sure that some of you saw him around Tuesday after court on the 12th, making his rounds, visiting with everybody. Had a meeting with Elaine about some HR issues, and then I did our road and bridge budget with Wayne and got through that fairly scar-free. The 13th, I had criminal court and protective order, had a long day on Wednesday. 14th, we had our LEPC meeting, and then our juvenile hearing. The 15th, I had my regular board meeting on the Camino Real Mental Health Board that I serve on. We also had a hazard mitigation plan meeting. We're redoing our hazard mitigation plan. Justin and I, we hired Langford to do that with us, so it's working good. The 18th, I had criminal court again, another long docket. Actually moved some things along on the docket. Had a meeting with one of the attorneys from across the way in Langley, Connect. He had some questions on a potential probate that they need to do a little more digging on. Also had another juvenile hearing, the 19th, on Tuesday. We had a groundbreaking ceremony over at the JP, the new Justice of the Peace Office in Falls City. Commissioner Lissy, a couple of other folks, Constable Hans was there, Jeff Zekel was there, Works was there. And we had Commissioner Beatrick and myself and Jim Adams had a really good meeting with the gentleman that reached out to me about, 2 weeks ago, from River City Steel, about some things that we're going to do going forward out in our recycling area. Good things happening. Guy knows junk. I'll say that. Mr. Beatrick would be passionate about it, so gotta love it. That following Wednesday, had probate, we started working on some more budget stuff. 21st, looked at property on Route 17 that I'll talk to the court about for a potential spot. I don't know that it really fits our needs, but a citizen reached out and was wanting to sell. We had our courthouse security meeting, had another HR meeting, and did some work on our budget, Michelle and I. And following Friday, had an emergency management meeting. Subsequently had an emergency right down the street, but it turned out to be nothing. Cause he jumped up out of my office and took off running, and so good thing he was there. Also had a good long meeting with our EMS chief. Obviously, Monday was a holiday, remembering those who gave up their lives for us to live free in the world that we live in today. And although my dad was a veteran and did not lose his life there, when he served, he eventually did take his life. And so I remember him on Memorial Day as well. I am sitting here with you at Commissioner's Court today on this 26th day of beautiful May, and I am done. Commissioner Beatrick, what do you got?
Thank you, sir. I attended our monthly Karnes County Crime Stoppers meeting and then met with the Sheriff's Office to verify that they are receiving the tips from our newly set up P3 software. The P3 software allows anyone to anonymously provide tips that are forwarded to our local law enforcement offices. Crime Stoppers supports law enforcement by funding the software and tip line and paying rewards on tips that lead to an arrest. A link to download the app can be found on the Karnes County Crime Stoppers Facebook page. Representatives from Keelstone Renewable Energy asked me to meet so they could share details of their solar project. Keelstone is planning a 150 megawatt solar farm on County Road 135 between 239 and County Road 124. They have already leased 1,200 acres and plan to start construction of the $210 million project in June of 2027. I met with several elected officials regarding the daily operations of the county. Centurion requested all of our emails and records related to the alert roof installation. I compiled all the data I had and provided it to the county attorney. I assisted with the setup of the Karnes 4-H shooting sports fundraiser. I want to thank all the community members that supported the small bore rifle clinic. We had 38 youth attend, and I think they all had a great time while learning from some great instructors. I worked with multiple departments that were having mechanical issues with their county vehicles. I've been researching data centers, how they affect our natural resources, how they affect those living around them, and how other counties are responding to the construction of these facilities. I met with our road and bridge engineer about the Centus uniform contract. I joined a meeting with a recycling company that can help us expand the capabilities of our county collection site. I checked on water leaks at the offices on the square and met with Commissioner Rosales about drainage modifications around the building. I attended the Karnes County EMS banquet, and I assisted the local VFW with placing flags at the Kennedy Cemetery. Thank you to all the volunteers who joined us. You made the job very easy. The next Karnes County Food Bank distribution will be on Monday, June 1st. We could use a few more volunteers during the summer. Reach out to me if you'd like to help, and I can give you more information. Also, during June and July, the San Antonio Food Bank will have a summer meals for kids program. You can find more information and a link to sign up on the Karnes County webpage.
Thank you, Commissioner Lissy.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to thank all of our county employees for all the hard work they've done and do. And I would like to congratulate all of our county athletes that competed in the state track and field meet. And congratulate Reagan Johnson. She's from here in Karnes City. She plays softball for Arkansas, and they've made it to the national championship. Weather permitting, drainage and construction will begin as soon as possible on the west side of Highway 181 in Hobson. County Road 211 project will start as soon as weather allows on resurfacing and striping. County Road 208 project is also being held up by weather. County Road 217 and 218 projects. Drainage and concrete work is also being held up by weather, but we sure do like the rain. All drainage in Hobson on the east side of Highway 181 is working at design. The Precinct 2 Service Center is also being held up by weather, but it's moving along as planned. We had a groundbreaking ceremony last Tuesday. It was attended by Judge Hickey and Precinct 2 JP Caroline Krzekwa, Falls City Mayor Corey Albert, and Falls City Manager Jerry Mandel, Falls City Councilman Stephen Swerts, Precinct 2 Constable Ronald Hans, committee members Tom Pavelic and myself, and construction has started. The county received good news last week from Texas Department of Transportation about construction of a bridge on County Road 230. Billing will begin in June. Construction should start in August or September and will be funded 100% by TxDOT off-system bridge program. This project was coordinated by a road and bridge engineer, and if not for him, Karnes County would not have received this grant. I'd like to thank Mr. Geisler for all of his hard work on this project. On a personal note, my daughter is in Brazil on the Texas A&M Study Abroad program, and we'll be there for 3 weeks. Her mother and I are very proud of her for her animal science interest. Her goal is to get in vet school at Texas A&M University. In closing, I'd like to thank the veterans, current men and women that are serving our country, and hope everyone remember our service members that paid the ultimate sacrifice of their lives on Memorial Day. And God bless Karnes County, Texas, and the United States of America.
Commissioner Rosales.
Good morning.
Shredding and boom shredding continues in precinct 3. County Road 302 continues with rehab. County Road 302 dead end side has received guardrails. I had several meetings with elected officials on the phone and in person. Met with landowners about County Road 359, taking care of the issue. Answered all my calls, resolved all issues. Last week, Governor Abbott had a rally for John Luan, Marcus Cardenas, and Jim Wright in San Antonio. Many elected officials attended there and were present. Mayor Rosales and I were invited as special guests. We attended and talked to the governor several times during this event. That's all I have.
Commissioner Geisler.
County Road 127, wrapping up drainage construction. We overlay road drainage construction is completed. County Road 128, construction on guardrails starting this week. Drainage cement work is completed, ready to be paved. And County Road 132, all base materials down, cement work is begun. Building this numerous calls ranging from a very wide array of subjects. Could talk to the architect concerning the service center and EMS station, and Chief Lieutenant have been communicating quite a bit of the EMS structure. And that's it. That's all I got.
Okay, item number 19, reports from our tax assessor, collector. Tammy. Give us the good news.
Good morning, how's everybody today? The April tax collections, current month to date was $30,897 even. The current year to date was $22,122,655.90, 98.02% collected. Last year, I forgot, I billed, she's in this one-page deal. Last year, the collections were 97.93% at the end of April. So we are up by 0.09%, just a little bit. For the delinquent month to date was $7,145.43. The delinquent year to date was $90,431.57 with 15.89% collected. On the county INS, the delinquent month to date was $12.97. The delinquent year to date was $114.26 with 5.74% collected. On the road and bridge, the month to date was $5,257.32. The current year to date was $3,774,052.14, 98.02% collected. The delinquent month to date was $1,260.35, and the delinquent year to date was $15,463.87, with 16.58% collected.
Thank you.
Okay. Item number 20, discuss / acknowledgement of personnel changes. This is throughout all our departments throughout the county. We don't have any new hires. We do have a transfer out of the tax office for Tammy Osborne, and she went over to the deputy clerk's office. Resignations, terminations, we did have one of those in the facility security office. Retirements, Ronnie Stoley retired from Road and Bridge as service manager. We're currently hiring for a grant administrator. Road and Bridge is looking for an equipment operator 2. Sheriff is looking for bailiffs, dispatchers, patrol deputies, and the tax office is looking for a deputy clerk. Opportunities are here, folks. If you want to come work for the county, hang on to it. Item number 21 is payment of bills.
All right, Court, the total bills for today is $1,116,248.33. I always highlight my usual items for you guys. So for TAC, this time in the general fund, we're paying them $162,182.50, which is our liability insurance. And then we're reimbursing, Wilson County $14,908.92 for a TIBC grant that we participated in. And I always, let everyone know, unfunded mandates for like income tax, unfortunately, we have to pay out for court-appointed attorneys and so on and so forth. That's just a cost that counties as a whole have to absorb. And this year so far, we've already paid out $84,677.17 in court-appointed attorneys.
That's throughout all courts, not the.
Yes, sir. And on the road and bridge, their totals are 178,461.97. Capital outlay, it was 637,940.06, which is for the new EMS training center. We're paying the contractor 629,416.82, and the architect is 8,523.24.
Judge, may I?
Yes, please.
I just had a couple of questions on a few of the bills. On page 2, coming out of contingency fund, we have some 2004 to 2005 delinquent taxes, and then also some 1985 to 2003 delinquent taxes. I didn't see a name or a signature on the bill. I don't know who to ask about that.
Okay, so I brought, we can ask Cammy to come up. Actually, it was from Karnes City ISD, so Cammy doesn't do the billing for Karnes City. They directly just send us, invoices. Because I asked the same question last time. I'm not sure, Cammy, why does
I don't remember.
ISD would be sending us delinquent tax notices?
I never saw any of that.
Is it on minerals?
I'm not sure.
It was on properties. When I looked them up, it was vacant lots.
That I do not know, but I will check.
Is that a John Banks question possibly? Does John handle the collection?
My partner's collections for school for these ones.
And we could pull those, Judge, and get more
We need
clarification
to,
on
and
it.
I'm curious about that, Commissioner Gaster, about that.
One of the bills is for $164.87. The other was for $862.90.
And it was not stamped or anything. I think Commissioner Gaster, there's no signature on who approved the pay. It came out of contingency.
I didn't see a signature. I didn't know who to ask about it. If we could pull those and check into it, I'd appreciate it.
Make that change. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay.
You got both of those down?
That's all I had, sir.
So I'll make the motion to pay the bills, but pulling the, is that 2004, 2005 delinquent tax, 164.87? And also the 1985 to 2003 delinquent tax for sale, ID 64936/1-64948/1-64957, $862.90.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor, right hand. Any opposed? All right, item 22, acknowledge, Commissioner Court will meet on June 9th, 2026, 9 o'clock in the morning over the multi-purpose room. We will not be here and we won't be at our courtroom, but, we'll be in the multi-purpose room. That's 210 West Calvert, Suite 150, Karnes City, Texas 78118. Item number 23 is for an adjournment.
I'll move with adjourn.
Second.